Let's go Broncos! This isn't your average midseason update. I just got some inside information that could completely change how we view this team's offense going forward. We're talking about a major shift in Sean Payton's approach, the possibility of Bo Nix going into franchise QB mode, and even a surprising trade rumor that could bring a former Saints player to our orange and blue team. Trust me, after hearing what's going on, you'll look at the rest of this Broncos season with a whole new eye. But before we dive into all of this, let me ask you something. Are you a true Denver Broncos fan? Because if you are, hit the like button right now and show your support. And if you've been following this team through thick and thin, leave a comment saying, "Let's go, Broncos." We're making the playoffs and no one's stopping us. Now let's get this out of the way. Despite being one of the hottest teams in the league right now, riding a 3-game win streak along with the Steelers, Patriots, and Bears, the vibes in Broncos country have felt surprisingly muted. That's partly due to a grueling stretch of scheduling. Denver just wrapped up a brutal East Coast road trip with a stop in London, playing 3 games in just 13 days. It's the kind of stretch that would wear down any NFL team. But here's the kicker. Amidst all the travel fatigue and jet lag, the Broncos may have found the answer to their offensive inconsistencies. And it's all about unlocking the true potential of Bo Nix. Broncos fans, this might be the breakthrough we've been waiting for. In Sean Payton's most successful month, October, there's mounting evidence that the offensive solution is running Bo Nix in an up-tempo, hurry-up offense. When Nix was asked about the difference between the halves in a recent game, he pointed to the pace of play. In the first quarter alone, Nix was 10 for 11, the offense was clicking, and the ball was moving efficiently. And this isn't just a one-time fluke, we've seen it before. Remember that electric game-winning drive against the Bengals last season? With just over a minute left, Nix led a full-field march ending in a touchdown pass to Marvin Mims. That drive took just 1:13 off the clock. When Nix is in rhythm, running hurry-up, magical things happen. Yet, it's a tale of conflicting philosophies. Sean Payton is a meticulous planner, someone who wants to control the tempo, build methodical drives, and stick to his script. But Bo Nix, he thrives in chaos. He's at his best when the game speeds up and the defense can't adjust. With a shaky opposing secondary that ranks near the bottom of the league, this is the perfect time to let Nix cook. That secondary, ranked 24th by Pro Football Focus, is ripe for the picking. They've allowed big point totals to teams like the Cowboys, Commanders, and Eagles. Add in Denver's home field altitude and the chaos of a hurry-up offense, and you've got a recipe for offensive explosion. This is not a defense built to withstand a quarterback like Bo Nix pushing the tempo at 5,280 feet with the mile-high crowd roaring. Now, let's talk about what's not working, because it's just as important. Last week, Denver leaned hard into short passes and screens, especially to receivers like Troy Franklin. But those plays were predictable, and against a fearsome front four that Joe Lombardi called werewolves, that plan fell flat. The Broncos were left with poor average depth of target metrics and a whole lot of busted plays. That said, there's one exception, Marvin Mims. Getting Mims involved in motion, on screens, could be a different story. With his speed and agility, he could absolutely feast in the open field if used creatively. But let's be fair, the offense has had its excuses too. Matt Pierce went down with an MCL injury on the 3rd play of the game, and playing with a hobbled O-lineman is never ideal. Add in the brutal travel schedule and the fact that the defense played lights out, holding the Jets to 0 red zone trips, and it's easy to see why the play calling got conservative. Sean Payton and Joe Lombardi essentially decided to control the clock and field position, knowing their defense was suffocating the opponent. But if the Broncos want to make noise in the postseason, they need to open things up. Here's where it gets exciting. Bo Nix is not showing any signs of a sophomore slump. In fact, he's ranked 2nd among sophomore quarterbacks, only behind Drake May, and he's doing it against some of the toughest defenses in the NFL. His completion rate is 66%, and he has a whopping 43 total touchdowns. When compared to last year's Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels, Nix is blowing him out of the water. So let's kill the narrative that Nix isn't ready. He is, and with the right system, this team can fly. Now, we need to address the trade rumors. ESPN's Bill Barnwell floated the idea of Denver trading for tight end Taysom Hill. The deal would involve sending a 6th-round pick to New Orleans in exchange for Hill and a 7th. We know Sean Payton has a strong connection to Hill from their time in New Orleans, and the idea of bringing in a versatile playmaker like Hill, who can line up at QB, tight end, fullback, you name it, has definite intrigue. But does it make sense for this offense right now? That's the big question. And while the offense seems poised to explode this Sunday, there's also a warning. This could easily become a trap game. The NFL schedule hasn't done Denver any favors. The Cowboys are on a bye this week and will come into their matchup with Denver fully rested. Meanwhile, the Giants, Denver's current opponent, haven't played since last Thursday. That's a lot of extra rest for your opponents, and Denver is still likely dealing with lingering fatigue from their overseas trip. But this game feels different. There's fire brewing on the Broncos defense. Jonathan Cooper didn't hold back when asked about Giants quarterback Jackson Dart and running back Cam Skattebo. Their over-the-top celebrations, chains, and dances seem to be rubbing Denver's defense the wrong way, and that's usually a bad sign for the opposing team. It reminds us all of when Drew Lock was dancing and rapping on the sidelines. Other teams hated it and made him pay. This could be another one of those moments. Because here's the deal, this team, as it stands, is already showing signs of something special. But when you look at the matchup ahead and all the emotions tied to it, it becomes clear, this isn't just another Sunday game at Mile High. This is a proving ground. The kind of game where momentum can swing not just for a week, but for the rest of the season. Let's go deeper into why this doesn't feel like a trap game. Yes, the Broncos are coming off a rough travel schedule. Yes, the Giants have had more rest, but the mindset in Denver is locked in. Guys like Jonathan Cooper aren't just brushing off the antics of Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo. They're taking it personally. The chain dancing, the flexing, the post-game partying on Amazon Prime like they just won a championship. It's igniting something in this locker room. This Broncos defense has already shown it can dominate. 3 games this season, opponents haven't even sniffed the end zone. That's not a fluke, that's identity. That's a unit that shows up with purpose. Add Dre Greenlaw into that mix, even in a part-time role, and you're looking at a defense that could flat-out wreck games. Greenlaw brings violence, attitude, and that enforcer energy that every great defense needs. If he's on the field, even just on key third downs, that gives Denver a boost most teams can't prepare for. Then you've got the emotional spark. The Super Bowl 50 squad is going to be there. The possibility of the number 88 logo at midfield in honor of Demaryius Thomas? That's not just nostalgia. That's legacy. And the current roster knows it. This is the kind of event that elevates performances. You think Pat Surtain 2 doesn't want to show out in front of Aqib Talib and Chris Harris Jr.? You think Justin Simmons doesn't want to put on a clinic with TJ Ward and Darian Stewart watching? This defense is going to play inspired, and that's terrifying for the Giants. And let's not forget, this offense has only scratched the surface. If Sean Payton finally leans into the tempo, lets Bo Nix off the leash and stops forcing those conservative screen-heavy drives, the sky's the limit. And Payton knows it. He's seen it. The flashes have been there. From the very first quarter last week to those late-game comebacks from last season. Bo Nix isn't some developmental prospect anymore. He's showing poise, decision-making, and production. His numbers back it up. 66% completion. 43 total touchdowns. Top-tier metrics even against tough defenses like the Chargers and Colts. You add in the chemistry with Marvin Mims, who's becoming more than just a deep threat, and you've got the makings of a dynamic duo that could stretch defenses vertically and horizontally, especially if Payton starts scheming Mims into motion and space. He's the kind of weapon who doesn't need 10 touches, he just needs the right 2 or 3, and it's 6 points. And that brings us back to the rumored trade for Taysom Hill. Now, look, it's easy to brush that off as Payton just clinging to the past. But let's be honest, Hill is a unicorn. He's not just a tight end. He's a red zone threat, a short yardage QB, a blocker, a runner, a chaos agent, and without